Hey, I'm Arch, one of the founders at Tax, and in this video, we'll be going through how you can file your personal tax return, including the self-employment pages. We'll also be going through some sole trader tax tips to help you save on your tax bill and accounting fees. So, before we jump into the tax return itself, let's start with some of the basics. Now, many self-employed individuals start off as a sole trader. This is a little bit easier than setting up a limited company. So whether you're a musician, a career, taxi driver, in construction, you're responsible for ensuring your taxes are filed. And it's important as you go through the year to budget for this. If you're in construction, you may have tax already withheld. In other industries, it's important that you budget, which means putting aside 25 to 30% of your income is generally good practice. Or you can file early, which then gives you a bit more time to pay HMRC. Because remember, the tax year ends in April and you have 9 months to file your tax return. If you file in April, you don't have to pay HMRC until January. So it's worth filing early, know how much you owe HMRC, and then it allows you to budget accordingly. So we mentioned that the tax year ends in April when you've got 9 months to file. But what is the actual tax year? Well, it starts on the 6th of April and goes on until the 5th of April the following year. So let's say that you're looking at a particular tax year. You want to be looking at 6th of April till the next 5th of April. Look at all your income and expenses within that period. Now, for most sole traders, you automatically operate on the cash basis unless you opt into the accounting or accruals basis. Within cash basis, you account for any income that you earn as it hits your account. So when you receive it, you account that as income. When you spend money, you would account for that as your expenses. We're not looking at invoice dates and things like that unless you are on the accounting basis. But for most of you that are watching this video, you'll be on the cash basis. So just take a look at your bank statements, record how much income you earned between the 6th of April till the 5th of April the following year, and that will be your earnings. And any expenses within that period too will be the expenses that you need to declare in your tax return. So be sure to use a separate bank account, and it makes it so much easier. You can just filter for that tax year and you'll know exactly what you need to report. Also, remember that you only need to file a self-assessment tax return if you earned over £1,000 of income within that tax year. So take a look, review how much you've earned. If it's over £1,000, you do need to file a tax return. And if it's your first time, you need to register with HMRC by the 5th of October following the tax year end. You will then receive a UTR, a unique taxpayer reference from HMRC, and this is what you use to file your self-assessment tax returns to HMRC. But how can you file? You can actually file with HMRC. It's free, but it's confusing with a little support. HMRC are not also going to suggest how you can be more tax efficient. You're left on your own. So you can file with accountants or tax advisors, but that's more expensive, but you do get the hands-off approach. And the hybrid is where Taxed comes in. We're tax software that will suggest how you can be more tax efficient, and you've got human tax experts that are ready to support you. You've also got the benefit of a software that's able to analyze your income and expenses and provide you with the details an accountant would in terms of how you can be more tax efficient and your plans for the future. Now, you may be brought into HMRC's MTD regime from April 26 or beyond. That just means you'll be filing on a quarterly basis instead of the annual self-assessment. But don't worry, if you're new, that won't apply to you. You first have to file a normal self-assessment tax return, and then from there, we will determine if you will be brought under HMRC's quarterly filing rules. So a question that we always get from our self-employed clients is, what can I actually claim? Now, to start with, it's important to note that you always receive £1,000 of trading allowance. This means that if you've had under £1,000 worth of expenses, we're going to automatically claim this £1,000 allowance for you. It's more efficient. You don't need any receipts. It's automatic. Super easy. Now, if you're working full-time or consistently, your expenses are likely going to be over £1,000. Remember that anything you purchase wholly and exclusively for your work is allowable. So let's take the example of a career again. I'd be able to claim back for any travel that I'm doing because this all counts towards my work. I can claim for travel either by using mileage based on the amount of miles I'm riding or driving, or I can claim the total vehicle cost. So I can total up all my costs, and then tax will help me to work out the actual portion that I can claim. Tax will showcase exactly what I can and can't expense. We'll also do similar things. Let's say I'm a freelancer working from home, or a career that's doing some admin at home. I'll be able to claim part of my home bills. Don't worry, Tax handles the calculation. Just come prepared with things like your rent, heating, Wi-Fi, etc. Finally, a few other expenses that are worth noting and that we will suggest whilst filing, things like insurance, accounting fees, legal fees, software and subscriptions that probably apply to everyone. And then let's take the career example specifically. Specialist equipment like thermal bags, phone mounts, portable chargers, etc. In general, you can't claim for normal clothes as there's an element of personal use to it. So anything that you purchase for your work, like protective equipment, high-vis jackets, etc., all good. But something that you would wear on a normal day-to-day basis for your personal life wouldn't be allowable. Now, specifically on the theme of careers, you can't claim for things like parking tickets or fines. If you get a speeding ticket, unfortunately, that's not allowable, and that might apply to many others in the self-employed world as well. Final one worth adding is you can claim for food and drink if you're traveling. You can't claim for food and drink if you're working close to your home, but let's say that you're traveling overnight to visit a client, you're going to a new area, you will be able to claim for your food, drink, and accommodation. Great, now that's the tax theory. Let's jump into the tax filing itself. Click start for free at taxed.co.uk or using the link in the description below, and then we'll ask you some introductory questions. Select that you're filing a personal tax return, choose a tax year, and select that you are self-employed. If you have other sources of income, be sure to add this in here. If you have any questions, just remember you can always reach out to our friendly team, but just in the bottom right-hand corner, we're always here to help. And when you're ready, you can add your name and email. From here, your account is created, so your progress is saved. So if you're on the go on your mobile or on your PC, you can come back to this at any time. And now that our account is created, let's jump into the self-employment category. This will likely be the main part of your tax return. So feel free to pause this video, update your tax return, and we can go through it at the same time. You start by asking your name, description, and postcode. Now your actual name will probably be your business name as a sole trader. And your description could be career, rider, or whatever you're doing as a self-employed individual. You can leave the postcode blank, or you can use your home address here. We'll then ask you about your industry so that we can show the relevant expenses that relate to you. I'm going to select career delivery. We then jump into earnings, and as mentioned earlier, most self-employed individuals will operate on the cash basis. So then, this is the amount that you've actually received in your bank account or cash within the tax year. So download your bank statement and total up your earnings here. And if you need help working this out, just get in touch with our team. We then ask if you started or ceased trading. This only applies if you've recently started your self-employment or recently stopped. I'll select neither. I'll also select no to any other income, but do check the help icon and see if this does apply to you. And now we'll jump into expenses. If you had over £1,000 worth of expenses, select yes. If not, you can select no, skip all the expenses, and we'll just apply the trading allowance that we were discussing earlier instead. I'm going to select yes. So the first question is around using a phone for work, which I did. And I spend around £40 per month on my phone, so a total of £480 within the year. I also use my phone approximately 75% of the time for work. We'll then ask if your main office is at home. Now this will apply to a lot of self-employed, sole trader, freelancers, etc. Now in my example as a career, I'm going to select no, but if you are doing admin at home, feel free to select yes. The next one is all about driving for work. I'll select yes and select that I'd ride a motorbike or scooter and that I did not change vehicles within the tax year. Here we can choose a fixed mileage rate or total vehicle costs. Now remember, you have to choose the same option if you've been filing for multiple years. So if you've chosen the mileage option a couple of years ago, remember to keep selecting that, or if you're using total vehicle costs, select that. Now the most tax efficient route will depend on your personal circumstances. So if it's your first time ever filing, you can go through kind of both options, see which is more efficient, or get in touch for more personalized assessment. In this example, I'm going to select the fixed mileage route. Now assuming I'm covering around 40 miles a day, it's around 10,000 miles across the year. So I'll input 10,000 miles here. Tax will then automatically calculate the deduction available to you. Now the final expense question is for any other expenses that you may have incurred. We'll add in some equipment that we use to keep warm over winter, along with a portable charger, insurance, and the taxed filing fee too. Now we want to keep you tax efficient while staying compliant, and that involves maximizing your deductions. So we'll provide you with the relevant expenses that relate to your industry. So check the drop down and see what's available to you. Notice how your tax position at the top changes based on the answers that you input. And once complete, you'll see a summary of all the information that you've provided. Now that's the main self-employment section complete, but you may have other sources of income or pension contributions or other details to input. So complete the rest of the questionnaire as taxed prompts you. For example, in the general category, we'll ask about payments on account. So if you've been self-employed for multiple years, you probably are making payments on account every January and July. So enter both halves on taxed, and then we'll calculate how much you may owe HMRC, or you also may be due a refund. We'll then confirm if you had a student loan or if you had any other income. And then we're all done. That's actually the main part of your tax return. The final bit is just a bit of personal information about yourself, like your address, your mobile number, and your UTR. That's that unique taxpayer reference ID that you need to submit to HMRC. Now on the finalising your return category. This is the final section, and we can submit to HMRC. You can review your refund, or in this case here, I have to make payment to HMRC and I've got some payments on account. I can see how much I owe, and I can unlock my tax return before viewing the full tax return and the calculation. At this point at the checkout, I can also add a discounted expert tax review call in, so you get the tax filing plus a tax advisor to discuss with you, all for a discounted rate. And once unlocked, I can view the full tax calculation, and then I can also scroll down, add any notes that I want to send to HMRC or any other information, and then that's it. I can view the full tax return along with the tax pack that we prepare for you. This contains a bit of information on how I can be tax efficient in future years based on the information in my tax return. And that's it. I just need to press this button, submit to HMRC, and it's all done. My tax return automatically will be sent to HMRC through a digital link between the tax platform and HMRC. And now that we're done, I can go onto my tax dashboard and we can see 3 files: the full tax return PDF, the SA302 tax calculation. Now this document is useful if you're looking to obtain a mortgage. Often lenders will require 2 years worth of the SA302 tax calculation. And we'll also see a tax pack, which will include some of those tax efficiencies that we were just discussing, along with other details about the tax return itself. And if you have any questions about the tax filing process, self-employment, or anything tax related really, feel free to get in touch. Our team are here to help. And I hope you found this video useful when it comes to filing a self-assessment tax return with the self-employment pages. Thank you.